Ladies and gentlemen, humans as well as AI, I am the comic outlaw. And it's been a while, but we're bringing part 3 and part 4 of RoboCop versus Terminator. Yes, your boy has a bonus for you. And it goes really fast. There's a lot of timey-wimey stuff, so be aware. We are going to be jumping back and forth. So here we go. And it seems at this moment the two have crossed paths, both the creator and the created. Alex Murphy and the Terminator have come to their first battle. But what will happen? And we start off with the Terminator seemingly winning. Victory at last. And now, with these flesh bags gone, they're free to explore the universe. But will that happen? As Alex Murphy holds the skull of the Terminator that he just vanquished himself. And now he knows that everything that soldier was saying, we find out later his name Flo, is true. Everything is true. He destroys them all. And she pulls out her gun, ready to do her duty. And Murphy stands there realizing this is necessary. It's necessary that his death saves so many, but she couldn't do it. For deep down, he still has a shred of humanity in that machine body. And he looks at the grave of Alex Murphy. And finally, a tear rolls down. A tear of all the vanquished souls. And as Alex thinks, these souls that are crushed, destroyed, put in pits, and just buried alive, Alex realizes what he has to do. Murphy realizes that he must sacrifice himself in order to serve and protect the innocents. And as the machine comes closer, chunk, 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 I think he feels a moment of regret as he's crushed. And as they're interviewing this soldier named Flo, both the skull, the weapon, pop, pop, disappear. As time once again begins to reset itself, and these humans that are being crushed are now, poof, being hit by leaves for the first fall, maybe. And as these humans begin to rise up, the machines start to realize that something happened. Some kind of backlash. And they must send someone to stop them. Their last hope. In order to right this. In order to put Skynet back on track. In order to carry out our agenda. They send two back. And now as this kid's playing baseball, sort of by the cemetery where Alex Murphy's at, he's in for a rude awakening as two figures pop out of nowhere. And as Alex Murphy's looking at his grave before he smashes himself, time resets again and the Terminator standing there, the little boy. Alex, immediately knowing who he is, Murphy begins to fire at him. Blam, blam, blam. Shooting part of the kid's flesh off and revealing the Terminator. The dog suddenly turns into the spider creature and lunges at RoboCop. And starts slicing and dicing the man. And it's interesting how the machine, the insect machine can talk. It's just really cool. He begins slicing up RoboCop piece by piece. And as you see, Murphy's body's being cut up. He's trying to get away. He's trying to fight back. But to no avail. The creatures keep shredding Murphy until there's nothing left except the part they need the most. The part that makes Skynet functional. And they leave with Murphy's head in tow, leaving the other body parts behind. And it's funny how they lock Flo up into the prison and nobody's messing with this chick. Future, y'all. Better recognize. And as they call her to the gate, she it kind of orchestrate her escape. She gets out. She runs down. She realizes the guard's dead. She realizes a big blam. And there was also a monster there. And the monster is that insect creature Terminator and the boy. And they're plugging RoboCop into the system to link him into Skynet. Now, this is before the internet got really popular, so they had to have a big machine. But nowadays, they would have just plugged him into a maybe just a USB port. But anyway, she tries killing him. She tries shooting him. Blam, blam, blam. He attacks her, destroys her, kills her. And Murphy screams out, "No!" as his essence is transferred and his soul is merged with that of Skynet. And they become one. And Skynet takes over and becomes the god of the Terminators and begins Armageddon and begins its plans of cleansing the earth of flesh and making it into their own world. The cities topple and the Terminators begin to take control. As they burn the planet to cinders, but something odd happens. A ghost, you could say, has been out running the program. Maybe even a copy of a man's soul. Murphy, struggling to survive, going from place to place until finally he finds an area that he can take over and infect. And then, without warning, without hint or preview, wham! One of the machines takes out one of the Terminators and it begins building its own, not Terminator, but version of RoboCop. A new version, with Murphy combining all the technology of the Terminators, as well as his own programming, his own skills, and his own humanity. He crafts himself a brand new body, also taking a moment to dip his flesh, or his face in flesh, just to have that sense of humanity again. And as he blasts off and starts laying the place to waste, the Creator destroying his creations. Boom, boom. And as a new war begins, a new agent, a new hope arises. As it burns up into the atmosphere, our protector is reborn. RoboCop is reborn. He's ready to destroy these world of Terminators. He's ready to disrupt and destroy Skynet for good. And now we continue on with RoboCop versus Terminator 4. Yes, y'all, I wasn't going to leave you in the dark. Like I said, this one moves fast. There's going to be a few more time jumping. So, be ready for that. And I just love the way this looks, man. Better than the stupid rocket pack in part 3, I guarantee you that. And we're heading off. And as you can tell by the little sounds thing, boom, blam, cram, bam. Yes. The fight is back in full effect. And how will it end? We'll find out now, won't we? And as the sounds of the war rages on, what's left of the humans running for their lives, scattering, trying to figure out a way to survive till tomorrow, being systematically destroyed and rooted out by these machines, where it seems like there's no hope. And even the staunchest resistant fighter is beginning to lose sway. All they do is they're being burnt to the crisp. And out of nowhere, a sentinel of justice comes out and fires a rocket and boom, destroys the Terminator machine. They look up in the sky and realize that it's not exactly a Terminator. What is it? And this is Flo. But this is Flo from before she goes back. When she's still part of the resistance, before she went back to kill Murphy, because that hasn't happened yet. Like I said, timey-wimey. And as RoboCop stands there with his cool missile hand, oh man, it's so awesome. He introduces himself. He says that he means them no harm and that he's here to help. He's here to take down Skynet. He's here to serve and protect. And as he's taken back to the resistance, or what's left of it, the humans tired, resting, bleeding, doing what they can to patch you up and to feed what's left of this army. Murphy sits there with a dog, and dogs do not like Terminators, but for some reason this dog likes Murphy. Maybe he can sense the soul inside of the machine. And as Flo lays there, for some reason she feels comfortable with him, and she goes to sleep, and poof, dog is gone. Where'd it go? Since Murphy's presence here is disrupting everything, Flo hasn't even gone back yet to try to kill him for the first time. So time is in a constant flux and shift. But RoboCop decides to fly up. And at this time, Skynet has decided to release a nuclear missile. RoboCop flies up into the upper atmosphere and catches it. Turns it around, uses his rocket legs to guide it away, which is so cool. And just guides it somewhere else, somewhere off course, somewhere off planet. The Earth has already been through enough nuclear damage at this point. But it doesn't quite leave Earth. It just flies far enough from the resistance not to damage them, but to destroy the Terminator's one of their main camps, which is just so nice. You know, that Murphy tries to save who he can and yet destroy his enemy at the same time. It really proves to the viciousness and the mean streak that RoboCop had. Where, he knocked it off course, but then again, since he couldn't, might as well terminate the Terminators. Now, he's trying to upload back into Skynet, getting himself repaired. Also, since he took over this factory, Flo has the idea of why just settle at one. And he starts copying his program. And there's one of those little android dog things that are easily destroyed this time by Flo. God, I gotta get a gun like that. Where did they get these wonderful toys, I swear. But anyway, here come the Terminators ready. After RoboCop's destructive show with that nuke, guiding it off course and away from the humans, and landing it right in their camp, they're ready for vengeance. And as they look up, they realize that they may be in more trouble than they thought. And it's not just one, but an army of flying RoboCops coming down and just raining down vengeance, coming down from the sky and just hammering these Terminators. And the fight begins. Machine versus machine. Program versus program. Skynet versus Murphy. Creator versus maker. And with the humans doing what they can to, RoboCop decides to take the fight to Skynet, where he knocked out one of the main facilities. He didn't knock out Skynet's main lair. And as he rushes in, and as the humans begin to take the fight to him, Flo's almost crushed and saved by one of the RoboCop units. And the fighting continues as Murphy flies in, and then he enters this area, and then flash, he's back in the flesh. For if it's flesh he wants, Skynet will give him flesh. And he gives him Ellen, his doctor, and Flo, and tells him he can have it all. It's just funny, all this I will give you, if thou art would worship me. And yet, in reality, Flo is shot. And she screams out by one of the Terminators. The RoboCop does what he can, destroys the Terminator, but yet Alex, connecting to everything, realizing what happened, destroys the fake Flo, destroys the fake Alan, stands before Skynet, pulls out that little middle finger connector of his and just tells them all to die, 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 die. And as his virus spreads out, it just starts to destroy all the machines. And of course, RoboCop flies out, victorious. Murphy has sent a shockwave that has sent these pieces of junk back. But at what cost? Now as Flo lays dying, now there's no one to go back in time. What do we do now? And of course Skynet is still up there in a satellite. How will we fix this? And poof, a huge pile of flesh, just a huge pile, appears out of nowhere, and RoboCop in full Terminator form just rockets up there. He rockets all the way up to where Skynet is as a satellite and just blows it to Kingdom Come. Finally, with Skynet destroyed, it destroys the entire time loop. And since it destroys the entire time loop, that RoboCop Terminator does not exist. Everything resets and Flo wakes up in a very peaceful place, a peaceful existence, one that she's earned through all the years of fighting. And RoboCop wakes up, a stranger in his own body, wondering what happened, wondering if he's human. But the Terminators send back one more, one vestige of hope for them. But, as I said before, time travel can be a very unpredictable and tricky business. And crunk! It's stepped on by a T-Rex as it was sent back into the wrong place. Well, that's time travel, y'all. And I'm the Comic Outlaw. I hope you enjoyed this story. Check us out, like and subscribe. And as always, your main man, Jack Slater. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.